Hey everyone, I'm back, and today I have finally brought you my top 10 worst movies of 2017. And it's not the best, it's the worst because my reason for doing the worst first, at least this year, is because last year I did not do a top 10 worst of the year list for 2016. I did do a top 10 best, just not a worst. And I decided that since I was going to make a top 10 worst of the year for 2017, I would give it to you first because it's kind of long awaited. And I think you guys probably would have liked to see this first since I didn't get it last year. Or get one of these last year, sorry. And also, I like to save the best for last. Now, before I get into the top 10, I have three dishonorable mentions, and I will read them to you very quickly. And these movies might not have been the worst, but I only did this so I can make a joke. Coming up soon. First off, Snatched, A Cure for Wellness, and The Space Between Us. Those three were just not good at all. I'm just going to leave it at that. They were not good at all, really. So don't watch any of those movies. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Here we go into the list. Number 10, The Mountain Between Us. I made a joke. The Mountain Between Us. I really had no anticipation for this movie, and walking out, I have nothing to say. This movie was boring. The romance didn't work. The survival story didn't work. The acting didn't work. The first 20 minutes were okay. Once they left the plane, that's when it gets really bad. Moving on at number 9, we have A Bad Mom's Christmas. Ooh, talk about a movie that's not funny. If you found it funny, good for you. Not for me. This movie's not for me, and I paid for it. When it wasn't being a comedy, it wasn't that bad, but most of the time it was, and it felt really flat. Number 8 on the list is The Snowman. This movie, I am shocked that it's as bad as it is. The trailers look scary. I thought it was going to be disturbing, but turns out the disturbing things I thought were going to be in the movie were actually the most entertaining parts of the movie. And whenever the snowman was on screen or was about to kill someone, mostly about to kill someone, or do something to someone, it was entertaining. And the detective stuff was okay at like the first act, really. And there was one unintentionally funny moment that just made me laugh. But aside from that, this movie is entirely boring, poorly edited, and I can't stand it at all. It has a lot of talent behind it. It was wasted, and I don't know how or why. Number 7 on the list is The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise and special effects, bad dialogue, just a whole bunch of bad in this movie. There's very few things I like in this movie, and I didn't exactly do a review on this film. It's in my movie catch-up of 2017. I did 5 movies in that video because I didn't really have much to say about them. And I don't have much to say about this film. It's boring. I didn't care about anything that was happening. Tom Cruise isn't very good in it. The acting doesn't really work. Just the acting in general doesn't work. The tone is just so inconsistent. It tries to be dark and funny, and it does not work at all. Coming in at number 6 is the most disappointing film I have seen all year. I was really anticipating this movie, and I know a lot of people like it, and they had fun with it. I did not. I thought it was boring, and that is Kingsman: The Golden Circle. If you enjoyed it, good for you. I didn't. I thought it was horrible. I thought everything was flat, and I could talk forever, but I'm done. I really like Secret Service. I do not like Golden Circle really at all. And number 5 is The Circle. 2 puns so far. 2. And that's why I'm proud of that. I'm not. I'm just trying to have a little fun here. But The Circle, it has a message that doesn't work very well. Well, I guess that you can understand it, but you do not need to watch the movie to really understand what the message is. And that's it. Like, nothing happens in this movie. Tom Hanks, I don't know what he's doing. Emma Watson is just, bleh. She just does things. Her character is just all over the place and just absurd. And I want to leave the theater. Coming in at number 4 on the list is Transformers: The Last Knight. Now, I enjoyed the first 3 Transformers as guilty pleasures when I first watched them in the theaters. Even the 4th one. This one, I don't know what happened. The special effects don't look good. The editing is really bad. The acting is bad. There's hardly anything redeeming about this movie. The only thing redeeming about it is the part of when Optimus Prime is driving out smoke in the truck. And for a lot of people, that's going to be product placement, but my dad works at the company that makes that. Who made the truck, sorry. So that was the best part of the movie. There was like 3 jokes I laughed to. 3. That's it. This movie's horrible. Don't watch it. I think the franchise is officially dead at this point. But only time will tell. Coming in at number 3 is probably the most unintentionally hilarious film I saw all year. Or at least 1/3 of it was. And that's The Bye-Bye Man. Ooh, The Bye-Bye Man. This movie's not scary. This movie doesn't really have a plot. The premise, now that I really think about it, doesn't really make any sense. The acting is bad. Just everything about this movie is awful. But it's almost worth seeing, though. For like 30 minutes sprinkled between the second and third acts, where it's just unintentionally hilarious. So, The Bye-Bye Man was awful in every way, but it's sort of funny. It's not a compliment, but hey, I'll take it. Coming in at number 2 is a film that I haven't seen on anyone's top 10 lists. And if you didn't hate the film, that's fine. I hated it. And that's Underworld Blood Wars. I think this movie is awful in every sense of the word. Acting is bad. Editing is bad. Everything is awful. There's not one thing that's enjoyable about this film. There's no real war, really, well, I guess there is an action sequence at the end of the movie, but aside from that, there's nothing to get out of this movie. There's nothing to even say it's mediocre. Everything's awful. The effects suck. I don't know. I'm done. There's nothing to talk about Underworld Blood Wars. It's just a terrible, terrible movie. But it's not as bad as number 1, which I'm sure everyone knows what it is. Now, if I'm going to say which film is the polar opposite of my number one best movie of the year, it has to be Resident Evil, the final chapter. From beginning to end, I hated it. I thought the camera work was, and the editing was just, oh. I think this movie almost killed me. And I could talk so much crap about this movie. I could say how bad the camera work is, the acting, the editing, the lighting, the cinematography, the color palettes, color grading, everything about this movie is awful. The special effects even, and the idiotic jump scares. That after a while, they just become less annoying because I have become less and less aware of what I'm supposed to be afraid of. And you can look online to see these action sequences. That's where the bad editing is. So if you want to see what the bad editing is all about, just search that. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad I saw that movie, because if I hadn't seen Resident Evil, the final chapter, I might not be the person I am today. I wouldn't be as critical with editing, and after I watched this movie, I was just like praising editing for like a long time, for like a month or so. Even if there's nothing special about the editing, even if it's like mediocre, I was just like, oh, it's good, it's not Resident Evil final chapter bad. That's what this film did to me. I'm happy that I saw it. That turned me into who I am now. A movie that was so bad, it changed me. That's what it's going to be called from today. So bad, it changed me. But don't watch it. Don't watch any of these movies. So we are finally done with 2017. We are done with the top 10 worst films of the year. And I still need to do my top 10 best movies of 2017, because there are some really great films that came out this year. And I would like to talk about them much more than I would enjoy talking about these films. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you like this top 10 list, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what your top 10 worst movies of 2017 are. And I have a couple other questions for you if you want to comment down below as well. Is there a film that you ever saw in your life that was so bad it changed you? Would you have, for next year, this is what I kind of want to know, is for next year, do you want me to do my top 10 worst first and then my best? Or do you want me to switch it around and do my top 10 best first, then my worst? So you have 3 questions I have for you. If you want to comment down below, please let me know, because I would appreciate what you guys think of this. After you do all that, or if you don't want to do all that, here's a couple other things you can do. You can follow me on social media. I have Twitter and the Stardust app. A link for my Twitter will be in the description down below, as well as my username for the Stardust app. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next video up. I'm so used to saying review. A video up. And until I get my top 10 best movies of 2017 up, thank you for watching and have a great day. Not watching any of these films, of course, for obvious reasons.